Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a 10-team PPR mock draft from the 7th overall spot using FantasyPros Draft Wizard. The roster positions for today's mock are to be 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, a kicker, defense, and 5 bench spots. We're drafting up against the conglomerate of Yahoo, ESPN, and NFL.com pre-draft rankings. But before we could get on into this 10-team PPR mock draft from the 7th overall spot, I would like to ask that if you are new to the channel and do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure you do leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. So without further ado, let's get into today's mock draft. If you guys have any interest in getting my rankings, my PPR and half PPR cheat sheets for the 2025 fantasy football season, please make sure you check out the Patreon link in the video description, or if you want to get it for slightly cheaper, if you sign up on Underdog using promo code Notorious and deposit $10, you will receive the draft guide for free. I will send it directly to your email. So the draft begins with Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, in a majority of leagues, the top 6 picks are going to include all of those 6 players. Now, it's always going to be in this order. Of course not. A lot of the times, you will be seeing Bijan go ahead of CeeDee Lamb, Saquon go ahead of CeeDee Lamb, but this is the meat and potatoes of the first 6 picks are typically going to be all of these guys. Now, maybe, just maybe, one of your league mates is really high on a guy like Puka Nacua or Malik Neighbors, and maybe they have Malik Neighbors ranked ahead of Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson's dealing with that injury. That could definitely happen, but a lot of drafts, I would say a majority of drafts, will start with this top 6. Now, in a 10-team league compared to a 12-team league, an 8-team league compared to a 12-team league, if you are in an 8 or a 10-team league, the onesie position, meaning the quarterback and the tight end position, is significantly more important. Why is that? That's because in a 10-team league, basically every single team in your league is going to be loaded to the gills at the running back and at the wide receiver position. You don't have to be the sharpest knife in the cupboard. You don't have to be the biggest ball knower, right? You might be in a league with, your great Aunt Susie, right? With your cousin Vinny, my cousin Vinny, right? And in those drafts, even if those people don't watch football in a 10-team league, they are going to fall ass backwards into having great running backs, great wide receivers, but the way you get that leg up, shout out to Pat Crane, above those other people is by drafting the elite quarterback, the elite tight end. Now, typically, I do find it a little difficult for me to draft the elite quarterback and the elite tight end on the same team, but I definitely think you want to get at least one elite quarterback or the elite tight end. Now, this year, you don't have to take a quarterback in the first round. You don't have to take a tight end in the first round. So you definitely want to be waiting on those positions. And just because they are more important in a 10-team league, right, you don't need to just instantly draft them inside of the first round. Now, this does change the more flex spots or more wide receiver spots your league has. Because if your league is, for instance, 3 wide receivers and 2 flex spots, or 2 flex spots or 3 flex spots and 2 wide receivers, right? Then the wide receiver position becomes a little bit more important. It kind of evens things out. But here with 2 flexes, 2 wide receivers, I definitely want to be targeting either an elite tight end or an elite quarterback early. But first, in the first round with the 7th overall pick, I just want to go best player available. And for me, that is going to be Christian McCaffrey. I have continued to move on up with Christian McCaffrey in my rankings. I get, is Christian McCaffrey the safest pick? Of course not, but the upside is way too significant for me to avoid drafting Christian McCaffrey. I genuinely believe this guy could easily be the RB1 in 2025, and not by a small margin, 2 or 3 points ahead of the RB2. He could score 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 more points than the running back too. He is simply that good. Now, if you wanted to go wide receiver here, I'm fine with Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins as well. But for me, I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey. I find it very hard to turn down Christian McCaffrey at the 107 because there is an argument you could make that Christian McCaffrey should be the RB1 in your fantasy rankings, because when the guy is healthy, he simply puts up top 3 seasons basically every single time. So I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey here. The finish of the first round goes with Christian McCaffrey, Nico Collins, Puka Nacua. Then we see Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown come off the board, followed by Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and then Drizzy Drake London. So we are back up here at the 204, and this is where I would potentially reach for the elite tight end. Now, typically, you could wait a little bit longer for a guy like Brock Bowers around pick 18, 19, 20. Sometimes he will fall even further than that. But again, because I feel the positional advantage at tight end, having that elite tight end is very important, I would be fine forcing the narrative and picking Brock Bowers here. Now, there has been people just talking down about Brock Bowers because how could he possibly see that much volume again now that they have Ashton Jeanty? Brock Bowers commanded so much of this offense as a rookie. Just imagine how much better he's going to be with a much more competent quarterback in Geno Smith with another year being in the NFL. I think Brock Bowers is very live to be the tight end one. He is very live to be the reason why you win a 10-team league. Again, in a 12-team league at the 14th overall pick, I'm definitely looking either running back or wide receiver, but in a 10-team league in this scenario, we will go ahead and take Brock Bowers. And again, us taking Brock Bowers pretty much seals the deal on going the elite quarterback, because to me, if my draft starts Christian McCaffrey, Brock Bowers, and then in the 3rd round, I go with Josh Allen or Jaden Stormy Daniels or Lamar Jackson, I just don't love the start that much, but we'll even see if we get lucky enough for one of those guys to fall our way. So after Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, Devon 2 Chains, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Vlad McConkey, Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Terry McLaurin, and Trey McBride. So if we did wait and went with Ashton Jeanty or Devon 2 Chains there, or Derrick Henry, we would have been able to get George Kittle in the 3rd round. But again, if your league mates are smart, they know how the positional advantage at tight end works in a 10-team league, it is possible that both of those guys would have been gone. I'm pretty shocked that not a single quarterback has come off the board through this point of the draft. Through the first 26 picks, I don't think anything really stands out as super out of the ordinary here. Now, again, my rankings are a bit different than what has occurred on your screen here. Like, I don't love Jonathan Taylor compared to a guy like Bucky Irving, compared to a guy like potentially Chase Brown, but I don't think Jonathan Taylor going at the 210 is that shocking, right? Like, I'm not completely perplexed. I'm not sitting there just led astray by the fact that that ended up happening. So we got McCaffrey, we got Brock Bowers. Looking at the wide receivers here, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Garrett Wilson, and Tyreek Hill. I don't really like JSN this season, not because I don't think JSN is talented, because they took like all of the competition out of the wide receiver core in Seattle. There's no longer Tyler Lockett as he is in Tennessee with the Titans. There is no longer DK Metcalf because he is in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, probably smoking some big doinks. So they obviously have less competition in Seattle, but I don't really trust Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold was a big proponent of the coaching system really elevating him straight to the top compared to Sam Darnold actually being this really solid quarterback. So that does definitely concern me. Garrett Wilson, I like a lot. The sports books do not like Garrett Wilson a ton, though. His props this season aren't necessarily the best, but I think with Justin Fields having that connection with Garrett Wilson dating back to college, and with Garrett Wilson being very clearly the wide receiver number 1 on the team, just because we do project the Jets to be a run-heavy team doesn't mean that Garrett Wilson cannot be successful. I love Tyreek Hill this season, but he definitely is a risk. We did end up seeing him not look as solid last year, but in my opinion, in the eye test, he did definitely pass the eye test. He did look great running. It was just he was dealing with the wrist injury, dealing with the fact that Tua got hurt, and they just had some dick cheese quarterback play. So we'll see how things go here for the Dolphins. For me, if I was to make my pick here, it's probably going to be Tyreek Hill, but I want to see how our team ends up if we go elite quarterback and elite tight end early. I know we kind of said that it did seal the deal with the fact that we went with Bowers, that we weren't going to go lead quarterback, but I do want to try different things, right? When you do mock drafts, don't just do the same fucking thing every single time, because if the draft doesn't fall that way, you are going to panic. And again, in a 10-team league, I think this certainly is a viable strategy. In a 12-team league, I think this strategy is not necessarily league losing because, right, you could draft a fucking kicker in the first round and still win your league, right? But it's definitely going to hurt you. There are definitely things you could do that are much more positive towards you winning your league. So for me, I'm starting to like Lamar Jackson a little bit more than Josh Allen this season, but it's basically a toss-up between the four, and we'll just go ahead and get the highest-ranked quarterback. For me, it is Josh Allen. I have Josh Allen ranked as my QB1. But again, it's by a very, very small margin. So if you're like, Nick, I like Lamar Jackson way better, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. So after Lamar Jackson came Breece Hall, James Cook, Kenneth Walker III, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins. So we're back up on the clock here. We don't have a single wide receiver. We have McCaffrey, Josh Allen, and Brock Bowers. We have to go wide receiver here. I am a big fan of Alvin Kamara this year because I think that regardless of who the quarterback is, seems like it's going to be Tyler Shuck, that this is an offense that runs through Alvin Kamara. America runs on Duncan. The Saints run through Alvin Kamara. They're going to get him hyper involved through the backfield. They're going to dump him off the ball roughly 7 million times. It doesn't matter who the fucking head coach is. I don't care if it's me or you or whoever you want to project as the head coach of the team, right? You could put literally anyone there. You know how the offense is going to work. Chris Olave continues to get banged up year in and year out. They want to heavily revolve the offense around Alvin Kamara, so Alvin Kamara is going to continue to be a mainstay inside this offense, even though he is getting a little bit older. At this point, JSN would be fine. Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go ahead and add Tyreek Hill to this team just because I like him the best, because I think Tyreek Hill could legitimately be the wide receiver number one, right? Last season, entering into fantasy football drafts, everyone took their knee pads out. They were giving Tyreek Hill the Gawk Gawk 9000 special. Fast forward to 2025, no one wants anything to do with him. It doesn't really make sense. He still has that crazy elite upside. I get, Nick, he's 31 years old. I fully get he's getting older, but he still looks elite out there when he is running routes, and I feel very confident about Tyreek Hill this season. The Fantasy Pros is telling us that we got a steal there. I agree with that. So if you were like, Nick, Tyreek Hill's never going to be available in the fourth round, despite the fact that there are tons of people that won't even touch him with a 10-foot pole because they got burned by him last season, I would have been fine with JSN or Garrett Wilson, or maybe you don't even think those guys would be available. I'd be fine with Devontae Adams there as well. So after with Tyreek, Devontae Adams, James Conner, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jaden, Stormy Daniels, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Alvin Kamara, Omarion Hampton, George Kittle, Mike Evans, DeAndre Swift, and Jalen Hurts. So after we make this pick, I want to kind of compare our team to team number 3 because they went with the same approach, right? They went with the elite quarterback and the elite tight end, and we'll see which team you guys like better. I don't want to fall super behind at the wide receiver position, and that is what happens when you take the elite quarterback and the elite tight end early. So we're kind of playing catch up right now, so we definitely need to be actively attacking the wide receiver position. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I will always believe in the talent the guy possesses, and I think this is going to be his breakout season, but there are clear question marks still had there because it's the same coaching staff. It might not end up working out well for Marvin Harrison Jr. again. They might not be giving him the correct route tree again, and that could severely be the reason why Marvin Harrison Jr. ends up being a big fat bust like the Hall of Fame statue of Peyton Manning, because that motherfucker's got a gargantuan-sized forehead. So for me, it's going to be either Metcalf or Courtland Sutton. I hate that we still have no idea what Rashee Rice's suspension is going to be. Chiefs wide receiver says a potential suspension is still in the works. It is August 3rd, and we still don't know. It's annoying. I wish we did know, because if we did know, hey, he's getting 2 games, then boom, in the 5th round, I am ecstatic to draft him. But if we fast forward a couple of weeks and it's 6 games, if you took him in the 5th round, you're probably feeling like a little bit of a bozo, especially in a 10-team league, because the 5th round is obviously different in a 10-man league compared to a 12-team league. So we're going to go ahead and draft either Metcalf or Courtland Sutton. We've taken Metcalf a bunch in these mock drafts. So again, I like to do things a little bit different. And it's also important not to be super overly invested in one player, because if you're in 5 leagues, you draft Metcalf 5 times. I love Metcalf. If Metcalf gets hurt, then you just shot 5 teams directly in the foot like you've got a gun in the club. We've seen that happen before. So Courtland Sutton, we're going to go ahead and take him with this pick. I wasn't super high on Sutton earlier on the offseason, but looking more at his splits and my belief in the offense as a whole with Sean Payton, my belief in Sutton, because I've been a Sutton truther for years, saying he was better than Jerry Jeudy, and that was always correct. And I love Bo Nix, so we're going to go ahead and take Courtland Sutton there. And the running backs are coming fast and furious. Shout out to Vin Diesel. Now in the 6th round, the running back position is going to be a little bit gross, but you want to make sure that you have a game plan entering into your draft. You want to make sure that you've done a bunch of mock drafts, because now you're not going to panic, right? Just because Chuba, Travion Henderson, Rod Jones, Dave Montgomery, Isaiah Pacheco, and RJ Harvey just came off the board, 6 straight running backs, you do not want to panic, because if you do, you are going to be reaching on a guy like Tony Pollard when Marvin Harrison Jr., DK Metcalf are still on the board. You are reaching, you are panicking. Do not panic. That is probably my number 1 tip for fantasy drafts, is don't panic. It's easier said than done, right? Normally when you tell someone don't panic, they instantly start panicking. So that's why you prepare. That's why you watch these videos. You hit that subscribe button, you hit that like button, so that you're ready for anything that comes your way. A great way to prepare for your drafts is also over on Underdog. If you sign up using promo code Notorious, you will receive the Gimme Pick plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash, as well as getting my draft guide for free sent to your email the day after you end up signing up on Underdog. Their biggest tournament on there is going to be $15 million in total prizes, $2 million to first place, $25 to enter. I love drafting over on Underdog. I think it's a great way to prepare for your home league draft. The best part about Best Ball is just the draft, and that's it. There's no waivers, no trades, and no in-season management. So make sure you guys do check out Underdog, promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description. So again, while I love Caleb Johnson, I'm starting to worry a little bit about him, because of the fact that they're talking about how he's not really getting good with the blocking aspect of the game, and an unk like Aaron Rodgers might get pissed off at that and try to get Jaylen Warren inserted more. I still like Caleb Johnson. He has time to work on this, but that's a potential worry. But again, I don't feel comfortable at all taking Tony Pollard in this range. Caleb Johnson more so, but again, when there's wide receiver values on the board, I want to be scooping that up, and we're going to go ahead and go with Metcalf here. Again, if you want to go to Marvin Harrison Jr., that would be fine. I would also be fine with Rashee Rice at this pick if we didn't go quarterback and tight end, because now Rashee Rice is our wide receiver 3. He's our flex number 1. And we probably won't be having Rashee Rice for multiple weeks to start off the season. So for me, that would be a no-go. So we're going to go ahead and go with Mr. Metcalf here. I have been a DK Metcalf hater for as long as I can remember. I have told you guys for years to fade DK Metcalf. There's too much competition. There's Tyler Lockett in my pocket skirt. There's Jackson Smith in the Jigba. And you guys just kept falling for the trap, because when he takes off his shirt, he's jacked as fuck. And yeah, he does look good without a shirt on. Pause. He does. He's fast as fuck. He's got the Lightning McQueen wheels. Happy wheels for feet. You remember when he tracked down the Cardinals player after he picked off Russell Wilson, I believe it was, and he's running to the end zone, and you just see DK Metcalf run at comically quick speed like the Road Runner in the goddamn Looney Tunes. And DK Metcalf is fast. He has all the ability, but he was kind of iced out by there being so many talented receivers around him. That is not the case in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers is going to force feed him the ball, so I feel very comfortable taking DK Metcalf there. Had Metcalf not have been available, I would have been fine taking probably Jalen Waddle there, even if it's technically kind of a reach, or a guy like Ted McMillan. I'm a big fan of T-Mac this season. So after we went ahead and drafted DK Metcalf, Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Johnson, Devontae Smith, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Cool, Joe Burrow, Joey B, Joe Shiesty. The 7th round opens with Zay Flowers, Sam Laporta, Tony Pollard, Patrick Mahomes, TJ Hawkinson, and Javonte Williams. Our RB2 is starting to feel very gross, but when you have the elite quarterback, you have the elite tight end, cycling through running back 2s, continuing to search for more and more value at running back 2 feels fine to me. Now, I'm willing to take the risk at hunting running back and not taking Brian Robinson here because the back 2 teams, there is no way in hell they should be taking another running back. If you have 4 running backs through your first 6 picks, you do not need another running back. Now, again, some of your league mates might be crazy. They might be a little bit out of the ordinary. They might be doing some crazy things, but I think that, shout out to Alex or Warren, I don't think that that's going to end up happening here. So we're going to go ahead and go wide receiver here. Take the risk because the team right behind us might end up taking B-Rob, but then we're just going to take roughly 1 million shots in a row at the running back position. But actually, I don't think I want to pass up on B-Rob because while I don't love Chris Olave, I'm fine reaching on a guy like Calvin Ridley with my next pick to be my wide receiver number 4. So we're going to go with Brian Robinson. Now, there has been some hype, some drumbeat for his teammate, the other running back on the team, Jacory, and I think that's cool, right? Hype him up, but I still think B-Rob's the guy. The reason why you draft B-Rob is the same reason why you draft any running back on an elite offense. Even if you don't believe B-Rob is some elite talent, it's because of the fact that he has the upside to score a lot of touchdowns. If the offense is going to score a lot of touchdowns, like you believe the Commanders are going to do, then Brian Robinson is going to get a lot of opportunities to knock on the door and jump on through there. He is a big running back. He's built like a brick shit house. He's built like a wrecking ball. Shout out Miley Cyrus. He's going to get a lot of red zone looks, a lot of goal line opportunities, and he could fall ass backwards into scoring 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 touchdowns and end up being a league winner where he's going. So that's why I like him. I don't necessarily think B-Rob's the most talented running back in the NFL, but I love the opportunity. And a lot of times in fantasy football, all you need is a running back to get those opportunities for him to be amazing. Sure, I would love if Brian Robinson was as skilled as Bijan or Saquon or Gibbs or McCaffrey. He's not. That would be a blatant lie if I said he was, but the upside is there because of the offense that he's in and the position that the offense is going to put him in. After B-Rob, we see Jaylen waddled away, waddle, till the very next day. Bum, 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 bada, bum. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Felipe Franks, Jameson Williams, and George Pickens. Felipe Franks. That doesn't make any sense. Who's the best quarterback available? We're just going to change that pick because there's absolutely no way that that would ever happen because he's not even the starting quarterback on the team. And now they're just pushing Felipe Franks to the next team. So we're just going to leave it. That makes no sense. I don't know what the FantasyPros Draft Wizard is smoking, but that makes 0 sense. So if T-Mac is still available, it's obviously going to be Tedero McMillan. I don't think he would be available at this point, though, so we are going to look elsewhere, and we're going to go ahead and draft Mr. Calvin Ridley, and now we don't have to worry about quarterback or tight end. If you draft an elite quarterback and elite tight end, you don't have to take a second one, so we could fill up our bench with some other running backs, some other wide receivers. We're going to go ahead and draft Calvin Ridley here. I think Calvin Ridley is one of the biggest steals. Cam Ward basically sucked him off, metaphorically, of course, when he talked about him. There was this thing the Titans did where they're like, what's a way to describe you, Cam Ward? And he said, Calvin Ridley sidekick, right? He loves Calvin Ridley. I love Calvin Ridley. I get last year was bad because Will Levis sucks donkey dick at playing quarterback, but Cam Ward does not, so I think Calvin Ridley is in a great position to succeed, in my opinion, over in Tennessee. So after we went ahead and drafted Calvin Ridley, Tyrone Tracy, Justin Fields, Chris Olave, Jalen Warren, Bo Nix, Rome Odunze, Jameson Williams, Quinshon Judkins, Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan, and Chris Godwin. I'm starting to open up a little bit more to drafting Travis Hunter, but he is strictly a boom or bust pick. I don't think there's really going to be very much consistency coming out of Travis Hunter. I think you're going to see games where he absolutely puts belt to ass, where he puts up a really big performance, and then there's going to be other games where he's more playing defense, and he doesn't have that great of a game. He maybe scores 6, 7 fantasy points, right? Which obviously wouldn't be ideal, but I think the upside, the big game potential is why you would draft him, especially in like the 9th round. That's when there really is no risk in selecting him. Now we're back up on the clock here. And frankly, I don't like ETN. I'm a scat man, because he's banged up right now. Tyrone Tracy's getting a lot of praise. I'm just going to go ahead and wait at the running back position and take another wide receiver here because Tank Bigsby is still going late. His ADP is going to keep rising. Seems like he's going to be the RB1 in Jacksonville, which is huge value in even the 8th or 9th round if he ends up being drafted there because of how good Liam Cohen's offense was last season. Shout out to Rashad with 2 A's White. Shout out to Bucky Irving. So we're going to go wide receiver here. And Khalil Shakir was a guy that I was cooling off on. I liked Khalil Shakir last season, but Khalil Shakir just feels like you are making the safest pick possible. What I mean by that is you're not really taking any risk with him, right? He's a safe bet to get you 12, 13 points every single week, but Khalil Shakir is never really going to win you your week or win you your league. I don't see Khalil Shakir magically transforming into a guy that scores a crazy amount of points at a consistent basis. Josh Allen kind of does the Oprah. You get the ball, check under your seat. There's a ball. You all get the ball, right? He likes to distribute the offense like that. So a guy like Khalil Shakir, I don't see really ever ascending to superstardom. I kind of think of Jacoby Myers as a similarly safe pick, but we already have Brock Bowers, but I think Myers has just more upside. We already have Brock Bowers. Well, I do think that with Pete Carroll, the Raiders are going to surprise a lot of people. I don't necessarily want to have 2 guys on the fucking Raiders on my team, if I'm being honest with you, right? If you had 2 guys on, an offense like the Chiefs, right? Or one of the offenses you expect to be really good. Not that bad. Cincinnati Bengals, not that bad, right? But when you have 2 guys on the Raiders, it definitely feels a little bit more like a tougher pill to swallow. Jordan Addison has sneaky been really good in the touchdown department. Now, in back-to-back seasons, he has scored 19 total touchdowns through the first 2 years, 19 total receiving touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he scored a rushing touchdown either last year or the year prior. So he has 20 total touchdowns, I believe. I read that stat in his career, which is just crazy to start off 2 years. But he's also going to get suspended. So for me, it would either be Diggs, Kobe Myers, Addison is fine, but Juwan Jennings I like as well. But the fact that he's dealing with the calf injury, 4 straight practices, despite the and also you got to just add on to the fact that there's kind of the situation of, is he going to play for the team? Did he request a trade? What the fuck's going on? It's kind of concerning enough to where I would just go look elsewhere. And for me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Stefon Diggs here because, again, I'm just searching for the most upside, and I think Stefon Diggs has a crazy amount of upside weekly. Everyone seems to love the Patriots this offseason. They're this team that a lot of people are projecting to take the next step with the new head coach, with Drake May in his 2nd season. So Stefon Diggs, I get he's getting older, but he looked really good in Houston last season. After Stefon Diggs, Jordan Addison, right? Khalil Shakir, Jacoby Myers, Ramondre Stevenson, Cam, I'm a scat man, and Jaden Riley Reed. So we're back up on the clock here. And it's going to tell me it's a reach, but I think a couple weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, maybe even this week, his ADP is going to keep on moving up. So we're going to go ahead and take Tank Bigsby secure, who I believe to be the running back #1 in Jacksonville. All of the reports are slobbing on this guy's knob like corn on the cob. He has a clear fumbling issue, but again, I think the Liam Cohen offense is going to be able to percolate. I think the offense is going to look a whole lot better, and I think that Tank Bigsby is going to find great success. Shout out to Borat in this offense. So after we went ahead and went with Tank Bigsby, we see Cooper Kupp, Najee Harris, Juwan Jennings, Matthew Golden Scar, Travis Etienne, Jordan, the numbers Mason. What do they mean? Debo Samuel, Hollywood Brown, J.K. Dobbins, Slick Ricky Pearsall, Ricky Rolex, Brandon Ayuk, Keon Coleman, and we're back up on the clock here. And again, I like Brian Robinson, but we want to keep taking shots at the running back position. Shout out to B-Rob, who also got shot. We're going to go ahead and go with Tajae Spears here. There's been a decent amount of talks about how this is going to be more of a 1A, 1B with Tajae Spears, plus the usage of Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard more than 1A, Spears more than 1B. When Spears did get good usage, though, last season when he was playing a lot of snaps, like towards the end of the season, 56% of the snaps, running back 3. 61% of the snaps, week 16, running back 10. 65% of the snaps up against the Jags, running back number 12. The upside has always been there, and that was in a shittier version of the offense that we should see this year. Obviously, with Cam Ward under center, the offense is just going to be so much better. After Tajae Spears, Zach Charbonnet, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., Austin Eckler, the Call of Duty King, Kyler Murray, and the Chief, David Njoku. Back up on the clock here. Definitely want to get another running back. Before we go with another wide receiver, and Jerome Ford currently got the day-to-day undisclosed injury. Not great. Not great, especially because there's that hope that, hey, maybe he's the RB1 to start off the year. Quinshon Judkins. We shall see. Braylon Allen's a clear riser in my rankings because of the fact that the team says they want to use him more. I think that while the hype does tell you, like, oh, Braylon Allen's going to be more involved, and yes, rightfully so, this is still Breece Hall's backfield. Don't panic if you are a Breece Hall owner. Jaden Blue seemingly going to become the RB1 potentially in Dallas. It's a battle of, in my opinion, it seems like based on everything that I've read, it's Jaden Blue or Miles Sanders as the lead back on the team. Devontae Williams is not a good pick at all where he is going in drafts. But we will go wide receiver first because I think I can just get Jaden Bonnie Blue later. And we're going to go ahead and get either Darnell Mooney. I really like Darnell. Here comes the Mooney. But he's dealing with the shoulder injury. And Raheem Morris, the head coach of the team, said that they're going to deal with it in the next couple of weeks and reevaluate it. So that's a little bit scurry for me. Egbuka, if Chris Godwin misses some time, Egbuka's going to slot in instantly and get a ton of value. Christian Kirk, a.k.a. the slot demon, looking like a safety blanket for C.J. Stroud. That's positive. I like Shaheed as well, just strictly for upside. Shaheed is basically like throwing a firecracker into your team, and it is a firework held by Jason Pierre-Paul. It's either going to work and it's going to be flying, it's going to look like Disney when you're sitting at the castle at Magic Kingdom and they're shooting all those cool fireworks off, and it's awesome, or you're going to end up without a couple of fingers because Rashid Shaheed scores 3 fucking points, but I like the upside that he possesses. I'm a big Rashid Shaheed guy. But again, I cannot deny Emeka Egbuka, man. This guy, his talent is off the charts. Baker Mayfield gave him the Sukalamink special a couple of days ago on a podcast with the Kelsey brothers. So I am really liking Emeka Egbuka. And of course, we end up seeing Jaden Blue come off the board. So after Egbuka, Jerome Ford, F-150, Caleb Williams, Evan Ingram, Darnell, here comes the Mooney, Brock Purdy, Colston Loveland, Rashad White, Baishal Tootin, Dylan Sampson, Trey Benson, Jaden Blue, Tyler Algier. So with our final pick here, we're going to go running back, and we're going to go ahead and get, could go Nick Chubb, could go 9-inch Nick, and hope that he is the lead back on the Texans if Mixon is not able to go, and that's what we are going to do there. Instead of taking more of like the handcuff pick, we're going with Nick Chubb, who could be the RB1 for the first couple of weeks of the season. All the shit the coaches have been saying in Houston, like, oh, he looks slow, this, that, and the other thing. He does, but he's such a physical back. He's going to be able to steamroll through a motherfucker, put a guy on his back. So I still love my main man, 9-inch Nicholas Chubb, and he's just another year removed from the injury now, which gives me much more confidence in his ability. After Nick Chubb, we see Ray Davis, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, the pervert, the Texans defense, Chris Boswell, and the Denver Broncos. So our final picks here are going to be kicker and defense. First, we're going to go ahead and get Brandon Aubrey, the best kicker available. And then for defense, you want to draft a defense, not based upon how good you think the actual defense is, but based upon their matchups for early on the season, more specifically, week number 1. So week 1, the Buffalo Bills, you might love their defense. Defense number 8 last season in fantasy points. That's great. But they're going up against the Baltimore Ravens in week 1. I think that's Sunday Night Football. That could be a barn burner. That's a bad game for them. The Chiefs going up against the LA Chargers. That is not very good. The Lions going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Chargers, they're playing the Chiefs. The Seahawks are going up against the 49ers. I don't love that. I do love the Rams, though. We've talked about this a ton. They're going up against Houston, potentially without Joe Mixon, with an offensive line that sucks ass. The Rams have a great defensive line, that fierce D-line, like Andrew Erickson writes. They're going to be able to get a lot of sacks, put CJ Stroud down, send him straight to Middle Earth. And so I like the LA Rams defense a ton. We got a 76 out of 100, and frankly, I don't even understand how that is possible. This team is amazing. If I left my 10-team league with my team looking like this, I would be absolutely bricked up thinking about it. So we got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson Jr., Tyreek Hill, Courtland Sutton, Brock Bowers, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, the Rams defense, Brandon Aubrey, Stefon Diggs, Tank Bigsby, Tajae Spears, Emeka Egbuka, and 9-inch Nicholas Chubb. So let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought about today's mock draft. Make sure you guys do check out Underdog promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description. Get the draft guide on there or on Patreon. I love you guys so much. Check out all the videos on our screen if you haven't seen it already. Love you long time, and this should be an A+, because this team is chef's kiss, menu week. I love you. Have a great one. As always, good boy.